Hello, it's Ali Miller here, and I've been challenged to post on LinkedIn 10 facts about me, and I would love to inspire you to share with me your 10 facts about you. But I want you to do it in a very specific way. 10 facts about you that relate to your next career objective. So let's say, for example, I was when I was in employee engagement, 10 facts or some facts I might have given about me might be, I've worked with the employee engagement task force for the last 10 years. I was seconded to them for a year, and then I've worked with them on a voluntary basis ever since. That might be an example fact. As a career coach, that just ain't relevant necessarily. So I might instead talk about the number of people I've worked with in terms of career coaching, the number of people I have helped secure the next role. Most recently, there's 5 people who have either just started or just about to start or have just started their new exciting role, and just so exciting. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to share some facts with you, and I really encourage you to send me a video back and share some facts about you with me that help you kind of align with that new role that you want. So I want to start with back in the day when I was a little bean inside my mother's stomach or womb. My mum was doing a career analysis experience for herself. She was 7 months pregnant and thinking about what she wanted to do moving forward for her career when she returned after maternity. So I like to think, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I like to think this is my destiny. I have always been involved in careers. There's a really interesting TEDx talk called What We Learn Before We're Born, which really indicates the significance of what the mother is doing when a child is in the womb. For example, my little sister is in the political arena, and when my mother was pregnant with her, she was, bouncing around about elections. So there you go. That's my completely non-scientific evidence. What else? I've made some notes here. So other facts I have noted, well, when I was 19, I read an article in Cosmo called How to Earn 30K Before You're 30. And I was like, you know what, that's one of my career goals. And actually it was quite interesting because some of the people around me were like, really? That's never going to happen. But I understand their viewpoint was because the people that were around them were not necessarily in high income environments. But I did think to myself, what, I'll show you. But I did it by the time I was 24. By the time I was 24, I had hit that goal. So, and in that environment, it was actually when I was in the executive search and selection environment that I did achieve that, but not as a headhunter myself. I was leading all the support side. So I wrote CVs, I wrote cover letters, I helped research potential employers and all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up managing various teams and heading up the Department of Business Support that did all those things. So I was training them to do that, etc. So that's another relevant one for career coaching as an example. I have made 3 kind of significant pivots in my career. One, for example, was going from SME, which was the headhunting company, to a large organisation. And but I don't know if sometimes it's similar today. Actually, people have objections around that. Do you have the experience of working in a large organisation? How do I get that? Unless I've worked in a large organisation. But I did manage to make that pivot. And partly that was due to the training I had done in terms of my coaching qualifications, training qualifications, NLP qualifications, which I could then bring to bear. And my kind of narrative, if you like, in that pivot was about really wanting to be able to maximise the impact of my coaching skills. The second one I made was from that large organisation. I was more of an operations management, but like 80% of the role was coaching team members. And then I moved into consultancy. It was a business performance improvement consultancy, which was the bit I was in was specifically around learning development, basically doing a lot of sales training and management development training. And one of the ways that I was able to land that pivot was because I had case studies, for example, where I had been able to increase retained business for a particular business line from 400,000 a month to 1 million a month. And so I was able to use that as my stepping stone into consultancy, helping other organizations to increase their business performance. And my kind of narrative around that again was, and this is how I truly felt, so it's in integrity, it's important to be in integrity, but I wanted to be able to then use my coaching and training expertise for a wider number of people. So I was going very deep in one organization with one team. And then I now wanted to be able to have an impact on, hundreds of thousands of employees, which I was able to do. And then my third pivot was from that consultancy where I had been for about 5.5 years. I'd specialised then by that point in employee engagement, had been part of the employee engagement task force, and was then invited to apply for a role as head of employee engagement for a large organisation, which then evolved into head of that and learning and development. And so that pivot from consultancy to senior management in-house, if you like, as opposed to consultancy side. So they're my three kind of pivots. Over my time in my career, I have made 3 moves that were 5-figure pay rise moves. So I just want to put it out there, people. It is possible. Don't limit yourself necessarily in terms of what you think you can earn based on your company's structure, for example. What else? I have got, in my last role, which I was head of department, I had to build that department from scratch. So I had to recruit people. So I've had I did a lot of that when I was at the exec search and selection to build that team as well. But most recently, I recruited in the team, ran an assessment centre. It's like a phone interview, first interview face-to-face, assessment centre, psychometric test. That was the recruitment process I implemented. So having that experience can often be really helpful for my clients because I understand from both angles. And some other more personal facts about me: I'm a carer as well as a career coach and program director. And very sadly, my father passed away last year, and so I haven't been as active on LinkedIn, you might notice. But I still care for my mother. So me and my other half, my mother and our dog, live together, so I can offer that support ongoing. And I'm also doing currently a degree in leadership and professional development, and have recently been invited to join their incubation centre as well, which is a very exciting little business incubation centre. And my hair is naturally curly. There you go. Last fact. Was naturally blonde as a child, but still naturally curly. So on that note, I'm going to end the stream, but also invite you to think about, even if you don't share the video, think about 10 facts about you that lend themselves to your next career goal. I'd love to hear them in the comments. Send me a private message, but I'd really love to hear them. On that note, take care.